Step number 1, proof the yeast. Place 1 tablespoon yeast and 1 tablespoon sugar in a small bowl. Then add about 1 tablespoon of warm water. Stir this mixture together and let it stand until foamy, about 5 minutes. Step number 2, add all-purpose flour to your food processor. Next, add plain yogurt, vegetable oil, and salt. By now, the yeast should be proofed. You can see it foams up like a head of beer. This lets you know the yeast is active. So add the yeast to the processor bowl, followed by approximately 1.5 cups of water. Run the processor until the ingredients come together into a soft, pliable dough. So here's your naan dough, nice and smooth. So place the dough in an oiled glass bowl and cover with plastic wrap. Let the dough rise until doubled in bulk, approximately 1 hour. And here's what the dough looks like when it's doubled in bulk. So what you want to do is flour your hands, take the dough, and punch it down. And you do that simply by slapping it and kneading it. Roll the dough into a tube about 16 inches long. Create 12 portions of dough. Then roll each lump of dough into a smooth ball and place it on a baking sheet. Cover the naan with plastic wrap and then with a clean cotton cloth. And here is a batch of the naan that has risen until doubled in bulk. With half of these dough balls, I'm going to show you how to make traditional naan, with the other half naan with a twist. Take a ball, sprinkle a little flour on top, and roll it out into the traditional teardrop shape. In India, there are literally hundreds of different varieties of naan. Naan crusted with pumpkin seeds, naan crusted with sesame seeds, some crusted with poppy seeds or onion seeds, others stuffed with almonds or ground lamb. You want to try and use as little flour as possible, because adding too much flour will make the naan doughy. Now for the naan with the twist. They're called lakna paratha. You could think of them as Indian puff pastry. Start by rolling out one of the dough balls about 8 inches across. Now brush off the excess flour and lightly brush the top of the lakna paratha with melted butter or vegetable oil. Then pleat the dough accordion style and roll it up almost like you would to make Danish pastry. Take the resulting roll, pat it down, and roll it out again. And here's your finished lakna paratha. So here's our tandoor. The coals are still hot. To apply the naan to the walls of the tandoor, you use a pillow-like device called a gadi. An Indian grill master would do this with his bare hands. Westerners, you might want to put a protective glove on first. So, watch quickly. This happens fast. Take the naan and put it on the gadi, and then slam it against the walls of the tandoor. Almost instantly, the bread will start to blister and puff. Use the flat blade to dislodge the naan and the hook to catch it. Finally, brush each naan with melted butter and sprinkle with toasted sesame seeds. Now the lakna paratha. And here's your Indian puff pastry. So we'll just butter the lakna paratha. Now the taste. Wow. It is sweet, it is smoky. And check out the puff pastry, how multi-layered it is. Same dough, completely different flavor. Indian naan, lakna paratha, from the world's oldest barbecue pit, two of the world's greatest breads. Years ago, Persian princes settled in what is now northern India, bringing with them great artists, great architects, and yes, great grill masters. From this period dates the magnificent Taj Mahal, and our next dish, saffron chicken tikka kebabs. Shish kebab as rich as a Persian mogul. And it starts with chicken breasts. Now, on the back of a chicken breast is what's called the tender. You want to remove it so the chicken breast lies flat. Then cut each breast into 1.5-inch squares. This chicken also uses a two-step marinating process. The first step is to make an aromatic wash. It starts with finely chopped garlic, chopped fresh ginger, freshly squeezed lemon juice, and water. And pour the mixture over the chicken. Now stir the chicken to mix it with the wash. Part of what makes Indian barbecue so incredibly intricate are these multiple layers of flavor. So you've got the garlic ginger wash to begin with, and then the saffron yogurt marinade. Now, saffron are the stigmas of a crocus that grows in Iran and in India. It takes 75,000 flowers to make 1 pound of saffron, making it one of the world's most expensive spices. What you do is pour about a tablespoon of warm water on the saffron and let it infuse in the water. Meanwhile, we'll add our salt, pepper, cardamom, a sweet spice from India, and mace, a membrane that covers the nutmeg. So mace has a very similar flavor to nutmeg, but it's a little bit more spicy and pungent. Next, add drained yogurt. That is a thick yogurt that you drain either in a cheesecloth or you can buy Greek-style yogurt, which has the same consistency. And next, heavy cream. That's where the richness comes in, and your infused saffron. Whisk these ingredients together until smooth. What you do next is drain the ginger garlic wash using a pot lid or a tandoor lid to keep the chicken in the bowl. Then pour the saffron cream marinade over the chicken. There is nothing like the aroma of saffron. It's exotic, spicy, sort of summons up images of caravans of spices traveling from India to the West. And marinate the chicken in the refrigerator for 3 to 6 hours. Okay, let me show you the tandoor. Check this out. This is a tabletop tandoor, small enough for home use. We actually had it air freighted into the set of Primal Grill from India. But like the full-size model, it consists of an urn-shaped clay pot in a stainless steel casing, a vent at the bottom, which you open and close to control the heat. Open, more air, more heat. Okay, let me show you how to put the chicken on the skewers. I'm going to skewer some chicken pieces on flat skewers. I'll show you why in a minute. And now my favorite part. Lower the skewers into the tandoor, making sure they don't touch. And if you don't own a tandoor, well, we have another solution. You can grill the chicken tikka on a hibachi. I filled the hibachi with natural lump charcoal. Range the chicken you put on the flat skewers directly on the hibachi. Cooking time is quick, 2 to 3 minutes per side, 8 to 12 minutes in all. Let me go check the chicken in the tandoor. And the chicken tikka is cooking beautifully. And don't be afraid to rotate the skewers so the meat browns evenly. To increase the heat, you can just open the vent at the bottom. Okay, so turn your chicken tikkas. They're browning beautifully on the bottom. If you want to cool the hibachi down, just close this vent a little. That'll choke off the air, bring the heat down. One final preparation, melt a couple of tablespoons of butter in a small saucepan. And be sure to turn the tikka to grill them on the side. And to check the chicken tikkas for doneness, just give them the squeeze test. Should be firm to the touch. We've got it. So remove your chicken tikkas from the tandoor. And last of all, take your melted butter and baste the chicken tikka. And this butter gives the kebabs a great flavor and a nice sheen. Take a look how tender the chicken is. You can actually cut it with the side of the fork. That's thanks to the yogurt, which has a tenderizing effect on the chicken. Man, you get such interesting spice flavors. The fragrance of the saffron, the sweetness of the mace and cardamom, it's really different. That heat has such a blast furnace intensity, gives you a really nice crust. Tandoori salmon, Indian flatbreads, and saffron chicken tikka kebabs. See you next time. Urn-shaped ceramic cooker and brush the top of the dough. The melted butter is frozen solid. That way you get to cook this chickpea scour. That way the chickpea flour, that way the spice paste, that way the chickpea flour spice paste cooks without sticking to the grill grate. Something very Singapore beef satays, meat on a stick from Asia's crossroads. Guamian chicken salad, an electrifying combination of smoked chicken, fresh coconut, and hot peppers. Fish Malaysian style, slathered with spice and grilled in banana leaves. Cambodian grilled corn, basted with coconut milk and seared over charcoal. From the scenic Esplendor Resort in southern Arizona, I'm Stephen Reichland. Today, smoke and fire from Asia. If I had to pick a single favorite region for grilling, it would be Asia. I love the blast furnace flavors. I love the way that Asian barbecue culture spills out onto the streets. Today, we're grilling from Asia's crossroads. Guam, where the sun rises on American barbecue. That's the slogan of the Guam Barbecue Society and the inspiration for our first dish. Smoked chicken and fresh coconut make this one of the most singular salads on Planet Barbecue. First, the smoker. Now, this is called a water smoker, and I'll show you how it goes together. First, dump a chimney full of lit charcoal into the bottom portion of the smoker. This is the firebox. Next, place the smoke chamber on top, and then the drip pan goes in the middle of the smoke chamber. Now add about 3 quarts of water. The water shields the food from the direct heat and creates a moist environment for the chicken to smoke in. Now let me show you the chicken. And when you're working outside, of course, keep your chicken over ice. Season the inside of the cavity with salt, kosher or C, and freshly ground black pepper. Then here's a cool skewering technique. Take a bamboo skewer, insert it through the drumstick just under the bone, and then come around and pick up the other drumstick. Finally, stand the skewer upright and poke it through the back, and then you can just break off the excess skewer. Fold the wingtips under the bird. Be sure to season the outside of the bird with additional coarse sea salt and freshly ground black pepper. And I have these in a small bowl so I can discard these or use the seasonings for another dish that will be cooked, so I'm not cross-contaminating with my hands. Bring the chicken over and place it on the smoker. And of course, whenever you handle raw poultry, clean your hands in hot soapy water and then hand sanitizer. To finish smoking the chicken, open the door in front of the smoker and insert a couple of soaked hardwood chunks. Place them right on the coals, and you want to kind of lower them onto the coals. Don't toss them in or you'll stir up a lot of ash. Then place the lid on the smoker. You want to open the vent holes to obtain a temperature of about 275 to 300 degrees. Cooking time, 1.5 to 2 hours. To get the full effect of this salad, you want to use fresh coconut. And when you buy whole coconut, give it a shake. You want to hear water. If there's liquid inside, it's fresh. Now to crack the coconut open, hold it in one hand and just sort of tap it with the back of a cleaver. And you'll see it comes apart very easily. This is the coconut liquid mixed with rum. It makes a great cocktail. This is not coconut milk. Okay, 3 ways to grate the fresh coconut. With a traditional coconut grater, you sit on a bench with the wood part under your thigh, and you use this to scrape out the coconut. A slightly more high-tech version from India, you simply turn the crank and grate the coconut. And the most high-tech version of all, take a piece of coconut and peel it with a vegetable peeler. And then place the pieces of fresh coconut in a food processor. You want to break them into sort of about 1 to 2 inch pieces, just like that. And then using your chopping blade, simply turn on the processor. A lot easier this way. So here's your freshly grated coconut for the salad. Just add it to the bowl with some coconut we grated earlier. All right, let's check on the chicken. Well, the chicken should be done, and it sure looks done, but it's always a good idea to check with an instant read meat thermometer inserted into the deepest part of the thigh. You're looking for at least 165 degrees. Okay. So now you can take the chicken off the smoker and let it cool and take out your bamboo skewer. So once the chicken is cool enough to handle, what you want to do is just sort of break it apart and then pull the meat off the bones. Don't forget this skin. That's my favorite part. Now all I have to do is add the freshly grated coconut. We can mix this in. And then thinly sliced fiery red chilies, finely sliced green onions. One thing I love about this salad, it's really colorful. Freshly squeezed lime juice, salt, different salt than you use for seasoning the raw chicken, and freshly ground black pepper. And in keeping with our Asian theme, you can serve the salad on a plate lined with a fresh banana leaf. A squeeze of fresh lime juice and a red chili to let them know you mean it. It's hot, it's smoky, it's tart. This salad has everything. This is one of my favorite dishes on Planet Barbecue. It's chicken salad like you've never experienced. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, let's clean it up.
That's pretty good. Fish grilled in banana leaves turns up all over Planet Barbecue. This version comes from Malacca, Malaysia, but the flavors are out of this world. Like so much Malaysian grilling, it begins with a spice paste. Start with finely chopped lemongrass. And lemongrass is an herb with a lemony flavor, but none of the acidity associated with lemon. Then add finely chopped shallots, fresh ginger, garlic, macadamia nuts, chopped fresh chilies, ground turmeric, black pepper, and fish sauce or soy sauce. Fish sauce is a malodorous but extremely delicious condiment made with fermented anchovies. If you can't find it or don't want to try it, you can use soy sauce. Now, grind these ingredients to a smooth paste in a food processor, or you can pound them by hand in a mortar with a pestle. Just scrape down the inside. Keep grinding. And this combination of lemongrass, garlic, and chili, it's totally incredible. Now, the other thing that distinguishes a Malaysian spice paste is that very often it's fried before adding to the fish. I have heated some vegetable oil in a cast iron skillet, and we'll simply add the spice paste to the hot oil. And it's nice to have a grill with a side burner for cooking the spice paste. Cooking time about 4 to 6 minutes. Here's a batch I made earlier. Okay, now this is a fresh banana leaf. You can find these at Asian markets. You can also order them by mail. And what you want to do is place a generous tablespoon of the spice paste in the center of the banana leaf. Then I'm using swordfish. In Southeast Asia, they often use grouper or skate. And you want to place another generous tablespoon of the spice paste on top. Then bring the bottom up, the top over, the right side in, then the left side in, To encase the fish in the banana leaf, it's a little like making a blintz. And secure the banana leaf with a bamboo skewer. So what if you can't find banana leaves? Well, you can use a high-tech banana leaf, a sheet of aluminum foil. So spread a generous tablespoon of the spice paste on the foil, then add the fish, then more spice paste on top of the fish. Once again, fold over the bottom, then the top, then bring in the two sides. And here's your fish packet, ready for grilling. Set the grill up for direct grilling. Preheated it screaming hot. This is one case where you don't need to brush and oil the grill grate because you're grilling in the banana leaves. Now all you need to do is take the fish and arrange the packets on the grill. So what's the advantage of grilling fish in banana leaves? Well, actually, there are at least 5. Number 1, the banana leaves seal in flavor and moisture. Number 2, as the banana leaves grill, you get this wonderful kind of herbaceous flavor from the leaf itself. Number 3, banana leaf prevents the fish from sticking. Number 4, it solves that age-old problem when you go to turn fish that's on the grill, it won't fall apart because it's wrapped in the leaves. And finally, the process looks cool as all get out. So cooking time is about 4 to 6 minutes per side. How do you tell when the fish is done? Well, what you want to do is insert a metal skewer into the side of the fish, leave it in for about 10 or 15 seconds, and then take it out, and it should feel hot to the touch. Need a couple minutes more, so to speed up the cooking process, I'm simply going to close the grill. Okay, and once again, to test for doneness, just insert a metal skewer through the side of the package. Leave it for about 10 or 15 seconds. You can feel it, hot to the touch. These guys are ready. And the aroma is really incredible. The banana leaf has this kind of toasted herb smell. And you can see they really are a thing of beauty. Now let's try one. And what I like to do is I serve them in the packet, let each guest pull out the toothpick, unwrap the fish. Oh man, that lemongrass really gives you a blast. Take a taste. This fish is incredibly moist and as fragrant as an Asian spice market. So the next time you want to grill fish without it sticking, with supercharged flavor, grill it in banana leaves. Grilled corn turns up all over Planet Barbecue. Whenever I see it, I screech to a halt to try it. Here's the Cambodian version, basted with coconut milk to accentuate the corn sweetness. Now, the first thing I want to do is show you how to set up the grill. I've lit natural lump charcoal in a chimney starter, and we'll just dump it out to form what I call a two-zone fire. Now, two-zone fire looks like this. Spread the coals out over 2/3 of the bottom grate. Leave the third closest to you coal-free. Then just place the grill grate on. The basting sauce is made with coconut milk. It's a heavy cream-like product made with grated fresh coconut. It's not the water inside the coconut. Start with 1/2 cup, and then either light brown sugar or palm sugar, salt, and in Cambodia, they would use an herb called pandanus leaf or pandan leaf. The closest equivalent in North America is bay leaf. Combine these ingredients together and place on the grill You want to just stir and simmer the mixture until the sugar dissolves. Now, let me show you the corn. Take an ear of corn, and you want to cut off about the last 3/4 of an inch. Just peel back the husk, come over the end, but leave the husk attached to the base of the ear of the corn. Then strip off the silk, and you want to take one of the strips of corn husk and use it to tie off the remaining husks. What you're looking for is something like this. The last thing you need to do is tear a piece of foil, and then you want to prepare a grill shield. Now we're ready to grill the corn. Okay, and as always on Primal Grill, we start with a hot grill grate. You want to clean it, oil it with a folded paper towel, dipped in oil. As the corn grills, baste it with the coconut milk. So I discovered this grilled corn in the parking lot of the Angkor Wat Temple Complex in Siem Reap. Angkor Wat, of course, one of the marvels of ancient architecture. Leave it to me to wind up with the grill masters in the parking lot. Cambodia offers some of the most vibrant, complex flavors in Southeast Asia. Cambodians love hot chilies, coconut milk, very enthusiastic about fresh herbs and fish sauce. And then there are a host of Cambodian ingredients like fermented fish paste that are absolutely unique. You can see the corn is a beautiful golden brown. And what you want to do is just place it on a platter. Cambodian grilled corn basted with coconut milk. The high, dry heat of the grill caramelizes the plant sugars in the corn. And of course, that coconut milk gives you a nice tropical flavor. So the next time you want to cook corn, don't boil it, grill it. Satay plays the same role in Singapore as the hot dog does in the U.S., an iconic, affordable street food enjoyed by rich and poor alike. So to have your satay named the best in Singapore is a great honor, especially if you're a foreigner. I give you beef satay in the style of my chef son, Jake. The ideal steak for satay is ribeye, especially a nice fat ribeye. This fat will melt as the satays grill, keeping them moist and flavorful. Cut the steak into strips that are about 1 inch wide and 1/4 inch thick, then 1 inch square. The next step is to marinate the meat, and it starts with a sort of Asian rub: brown sugar, ground coriander, ground cumin, ground turmeric, black pepper. I'm going to stir the dry ingredients into the meat first. That way you get better crusting of the spices on the meat. Once the beef is thickly crusted with the spices, add the liquid ingredients, fish sauce made with fermented anchovies, you could also use soy sauce, and a little vegetable oil. For the best results, let the meat marinate for at least 4 hours. And here's a batch of beef that I marinated earlier. To form the satays, you want to thread the squares of beef onto bamboo skewers. And I like to leave about half the skewer exposed so you have a handle to pick it up with. I'm working on a hibachi type of Asian grill. And what you want to do, the way you control the heat with the hibachi, you open this vent hole, more air comes in through the bottom, and you get a higher heat on top. And just as with a conventional Western grill, you want to brush the grill grate to clean it, And to oil the grill grate, you can take a piece of steak fat and rub it over the bars of the grate. Now, in Asia, you'd use a very slender grill, specially designed for satay, so slender that it holds only the meat and the skewer sticks over the edge and doesn't burn. To achieve the same effect in North America, you simply lay a grill shield over part of the grill and then place your satays directly on the grill. The cooking time on the satays is quick. It's about 3 to 4 minutes per side. Remember, every grill, even a small Asian grill, has its hot spots and cool spots. So if the satays are browning faster in the center than on the edge, all you need to do is just kind of move the ones in the middle to the edges. Once the satays are browned on one side, simply turn them over. And you can see how the melting fat makes the meat sizzle. And the satays look golden brown on both sides, so we'll just transfer them to a plate. And the scent of toasted cumin and spice is unbelievable. And the traditional accompaniments for Singapore beef satay are peanut sauce and cucumber relish. The recipes are on our website. So the way you eat satay is you dip it in the peanut sauce. This beef is so tender and the spices are really intense. So there you have it, coconut chicken salad, Cambodian grilled corn, Malaysian swordfish grilled in banana leaves, and Singapore satay. It's Asia's crossroads on Primal Grill. Anybody hungry? Everybody's hungry. Shooting outdoors is a very different experience than shooting in a studio. We cannot control the environment. We can't control the wind, which wants to pick up that big silk that keeps the light nice and even. We can't control overhead airplanes and helicopters. If it's cold out at night, we're all cold. It's a tremendous challenge. I think that's what makes the show so interesting. It may seem like I'm out here by myself, but this is the work of an enormous and incredibly dedicated crew. So bravo to you guys. Smoked egg pate, Israeli egg salad like you've never tasted, Malaysian grilled tofu, bean curd even a carnivore will love, Thai grilled bananas, coconut caramel, and flame grilled fruit. From the beautiful Esplendor Resort in southern Arizona, I'm Stephen Reichlin. Today on Primal Grill, we're grilling vegetarian, heat without meat. Yes, we read your emails, and we're always surprised how many of you clamor for vegetarian grilling. So today, I'm going to take you on a world tour of meatless grilling. Israeli smoked egg pate, Malaysian grilled tofu, and coconut grilled bananas from Thailand. Hot off the grill, hold the meat. We ought to have a electric match. Do we have one of those? All right, guys, how our eggs come out?
It's good.
All right, you guys ready to nail this? Egg salad might be the last thing you'd think of preparing on the grill, unless you're the chef of the Auberge Choulamette. Smoked egg pate is the house specialty of this historic restaurant in Rosh Pinah, Israel. Here's how we prepare it on Primal Grill. First step, you need 6 hard-boiled eggs, cooking time about 11 minutes. Next step, let me show you how to turn your charcoal grill into a smoker. It's easier to smoke the eggs on a charcoal grill than on a gas grill. I like to use natural lump charcoal. You can see the jagged shape. To light it, you use a chimney starter. That's this cylindrical shaped device. You place a piece of crumpled newspaper or a paraffin starter at the bottom. And always light your chimney on the grill using a butane match. And light it. The beauty of a chimney starter is that it funnels the heat upwards so that the charcoal lights uniformly without lighter fluid. And I have a batch of charcoal I lit earlier. What you want to do is set up your grill for indirect grilling. That means that you dump the lit coals in these side baskets. And you leave the center of the grill coal-free. Now, simply place the grate on the grill, and the eggs go on the grate, away from the heat. And to smoke the eggs, I'm using hardwood chips. These are actually cherry. They've been soaked in water for about 1 hour. So it's a handful on each mound of coals. And the reason you use soaked chips, they will smolder and smoke rather than catch fire as they would if they were dry. Okay, finally, simply cover the grill. You always want to position the vent holes in between the two mounds of coals. That way the smoke will be drawn over the egg in an even fashion. Wide open, we want to smoke these at a fairly high temperature. Smoking time, 15 to 20 minutes. The egg has long played a symbolic role in the Jewish tradition. For example, you traditionally eat egg salad and other dairy products to break the fast after Yom Kippur. An egg roasted in the shell appears on the ritual food platter at a Passover Seder, a symbol of spring and new beginnings. Swap outs? Can I clear over here? The next thing we're going to do, so while that's grilling, I'm going to show you how to make pita bread. And we're going to make the za'atar, right? And the za'atar is a mixed herb. We need a pastry brush.
And go.
It's been 20 minutes, and you can see the beautiful ochre color of the eggs. That's due to the smoke. If you haven't burned all your charcoal, if you put the lid back on and close the vents, it will put the charcoal out. You can reuse it another time. Cut each egg into quarters. Next, transfer the eggs to a food processor. The Auberge Shulamit is a wonderful restaurant and inn located in an artist town in the north of Israel called Rosh Pinah, and it actually overlooks the Sea of Galilee. So once you have the eggs in, we'll add mayonnaise. It's about 1 tablespoon per egg. And then a little salt, a little freshly ground black pepper, and a few tears of fresh lemon juice. Squeeze the lemon between your fingers to catch any seeds. And you want to puree the pate, running the processor in short bursts. And of course, your most important tools are your taste buds, so taste it right on the money. Smoked foods are something of a specialty at the Auberge Shulamit, and it's a very interesting story. One of the owners of the restaurant had a friend who came from the United States and demonstrated the art of Southern-style American smoking. And at the restaurant, you'll find smoked egg pate, smoked chicken, and even smoked goose breast. And the last step, just a little chopped fresh flat leaf parsley. And to serve with the smoked egg pate, another Israeli specialty, pita bread grilled with za'atar. So to grill the pita bread, you're going to use a different setup, direct grilling in a 3-zone fire. Here's what you do. Dump out the coals in a thick layer over 1/3 of the grill. slightly thinner layer in the center. Just adjust the coals like this. You want to leave 1/3 of your grill coal-free. Now, what's the reason for that? I call this the safety zone. Pita bread has a tendency to burn very easily. So by leaving yourself a safety zone, if it starts to burn, you can move it to the cooler part of the grill. Next step is to make the za'atar. And za'atar is a sort of a rub, a Middle Eastern rub. Every recipe is different. Mine consists of equal parts oregano, marjoram, thyme, toasted sesame seeds, and finally a little salt for flavor. And as you've seen me do before, I like to mix the ingredients for the rub with my fingers. That way, if there are any lumps, you can break them up. Now for the pita breads, spread the pita out and brush the bottoms with extra virgin olive oil. And then season the pita breads with some of your za'atar. Za'atar is used as a seasoning throughout the Middle and Near East. And as always, remember to brush and oil your grill grate. Couple swipes of a metal grill brush. And to oil the grate, dip either a folded paper towel or this cotton cloth in vegetable oil and run it across the bars of the grate. This will keep the pita from sticking. Now, simply arrange the pita bread on the grill. Cooking time is quick, 30 seconds max per side. Remember, the grill was the original toaster. And you want to keep the pita breads moving. And the beauty of having this cool or safety zone is once the pitas are cooked, you simply move them here. You don't need to worry about them burning. Now you can see I actually did burn the edge a little bit on this pita. I'm not worried. Remember, the act of grilling is sort of a ballet between cooking and burning, and right at that caramelized edge, that's where all the flavor is. So all we need to do now is simply stack the pita up, cut them into wedges, man, I can't wait to try this. That smoked egg flavor and the herbal flavor in the pita. You know, when we were developing this recipe in the test kitchen, the crew could not stop eating it. So there you have it, smoked egg pate with za'atar grilled pita, from Israel to Arizona to you.
Okay, very nice. That's a cut.
Are we okay to roll?
Why is grilled tofu so popular in Asia? Well, first of all, remember, bean curd was invented here in China. And then there's what I call the blank canvas syndrome. Tofu by itself is a highly efficient form of protein, but it's rather bland. It's a perfect foil for whatever flavors the grill master wants to bring to it. Not sure. Okay, great. So we have our tofu here, then we cut. Then we try to press it. So for the pressing.
Very quiet, here we're gonna roll.
Tofu may not be the first ingredient most Americans think of grilling, but if you travel around Southeast Asia, you find it everywhere. Here's how they make tofu steaks at the popular Tom Yum Classic restaurant in Kuala Lumpur. Now, this is a block of extra firm tofu, and the first step is to cut it into steaks. So what you want to do is cut it in half, and then cut each half in half again. And in order to grill tofu, it's a good idea to press it first. This removes some of the extra moisture. So what you do is set it on a baking sheet lined with paper towels, tofu on top, and then more paper towels, another baking sheet, and finally a bowl of water as a press. You press the tofu about 30 minutes to 1 hour. What this does, extract some of the extra liquid, so when you go to grill the tofu, it's firmer. And here is some tofu we pressed earlier. Next step, the chili peanut sauce. I have heated some vegetable oil on the side burner of my grill. And now we'll add typical Asian aromatics, chopped fresh garlic, ginger, shallot, and cilantro, also known as coriander leaf. And what you want to do is fry this mixture until it's aromatic and just beginning to brown. It's very nice to have a grill with a side burner. Once the mixture is sizzling, add the remaining ingredients, and they are Malaysian chili paste, palm sugar or light brown sugar, chopped toasted peanuts, hoisin sauce, which is a sweet, salty Chinese condiment made with soybeans and sugar, sesame seeds, optional MSG, and finally, a few tablespoons of water to thin the sauce to pourable consistency. Now return the mixture to the side burner. You want to simmer the sauce until thick and richly flavored. That's about 5 to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, back to the tofu. So here's our drained tofu, and what you want to do is lightly brush the top of each tofu steak with vegetable oil. We'll brush the other side when the tofu's on the grill. So let's take a look at the sauce. Okay, here's our sauce. The aroma is unbelievable. That ginger just really hits you. And what you want to do now is just brush a little bit of the sauce on top of the tofu. And the sugar in the sauce will help the tofu brown and caramelize. What I love about Asian grilling is that the flavors are so dynamic and explosive. So finally, the grill. Now, I preheated the grill to screaming hot. We'll arrange the tofu pieces on the grill, and so we'll turn the oiled side down. And what you want to do while the tofu is grilling on one side is just lightly brush the tops with oil. And again, with a little bit more of your sauce. And what you can do is give each tofu steak a quarter turn. Just kind of slide the spatula under it. The idea here is we want to lay on a crosshatch of grill marks. Notice when I grill, I always try and line the foods up in neat rows. That way, when it's time to turn, I can start at the beginning, work through to the end. So we'll grill on one side, and then turn the tofu over. Beautiful crosshatch of grill marks. And you can brush the tops of the tofu, a little bit more sauce for extra color and flavor. A lot of you ask how I come up with all of these recipes. Well, the simple answer is I travel. I spend about 4 to 5 months a year on the road. In the last 3 years, I have visited 53 countries in the dogged pursuit of the best of the world's grilling. total cooking time is really quick. It's about 4 minutes per side. You do that half turn after 2 minutes. Remember that tofu is cooked when it comes out of the package. So really what you're just trying to do is caramelize the surface. Give it those great grill marks and extra flavor. You may wonder why I'm using a spatula and not tongs. Well, tofu is fragile, and the spatula helps it hold together.
Okay, very nice. That's a cut.
When the tofu is brown, it is done. And finally, with the tofu, slivered fresh pineapple, cucumber, and bean sprouts. And the bean sprouts, cucumber, and pineapple give you a contrast of texture, flavor, and even temperature, cold and hot. Here it is, our grilled tofu steaks with Malaysian chili peanut sauce. Okay, so a piece of tofu, and then you can grab some pineapple, cucumber, and bean sprouts. And finally, a spoonful of sauce. Man, I can't wait to dive into this. The tofu is utterly transformed. It's got the crust on the tofu, that sweet pepper sauce. It's really fantastic. So, there you have it. Malaysian tofu steak, chili peanut sauce, gives you a whole new perspective on bean curd. Grilled bananas may still be something of a novelty in North America, but in Southeast Asia, you find them on street corner push carts everywhere. Tonight, grilled bananas Thai style, basted with coconut caramel sauce. I bet you can't eat just one. First, the sauce. I've heated a saucepan over our hibachi, and to it add 1/2 cup of light brown sugar or palm sugar. They'd use palm sugar in Southeast Asia. What you want to do is melt the sugar and cook it until it starts to caramelize. That's about 5 to 8 minutes. Add your coconut milk, and the mixture may hiss and sputter. That is a good thing. And stir the mixture until the sugar dissolves in the coconut milk. Then place it back on the fire to melt the sugar. And while that's working, let me show you the bananas. So we're using these tiny finger bananas, and what you want to do is just cut the banana off the stem and peel it, ideally right before grilling. And if you can't find finger bananas, use the smallest conventional bananas you can find. And the sugar is melted, the sauce is bubbling away. So what you want to do is just close this vent a little bit. That turns the heat down. Now let me show you how to prepare the grill for the banana. We want a screaming hot fire. So we'll open the vent here. Okay, last of all, arrange the bananas on the grate in a neat row. Why a neat row? So they cook evenly. And you can remember which one needs turning. This recipe was inspired by a street vendor who grills off of a pushcart behind the Thai Orchid Sheraton Hotel in Bangkok. Her bananas are so famous, she's been written up by guidebooks around the world. And now, as the bananas grill, what you want to do is baste them with this coconut caramel sauce. The aroma is absolutely incredible. And if the heat gets too hot, simply close down this damper. And the beauty of these finger bananas is they're supernaturally fruity and sweet. When the bananas are golden brown, they're done. It's really quick. So here are your grilled bananas. And you can just take a little bit more of the coconut caramel sauce and spoon it over the bananas. And serve the remaining sauce on the side. And there you have it, Thai grilled bananas with coconut caramel. Let's see how we did. This is like banana coconut candy. So that concludes our show on vegetarian